Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Quick post fight for PBC on FS1. Luis Collazo, Sammy Vasquez main event. Man, first of all, I want to say thank you, Al Heyman. January was definitely a treat. I got to cover one of those fights. That was the fight with Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton 2, Mikey Garcia, nasty knockout. And now we're getting another nasty knockout. We had Badu Jack, James DeGale. Heyman's clearly running the first quarter of boxing. Now, this is just a random card on a random night. Was it Thursday? And congrats to my dude, Luis Collazo. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him in the past. He said he was ready. And he proved that. He stopped Sammy Vasquez, who was at the time once beaten, and it was an impressive knockout win. So shout out to BK, shout out to all of the BK. I tried telling people, a lot of people don't, I'm not saying, I clearly don't know everything about boxing, but one thing I do know is I pay attention and I try to be realistic. A lot of people sleep on aspects of the game. Like, I told people that Luis Collazo, even go look at my videos are still up. Even when the Keith Thurman fight was announced for Collazo, I said, not that Collazo will be the favorite, but you don't want to sleep on someone with that much experience, right? Collazo is far more proven than a Sammy Vasquez, right? It is what it is. He has more pro-level experience. Sammy Vasquez served time in the military and whatnot. He was in a tough war with Felix Diaz, an Olympic gold medalist from the Dominican Republic. Shout out to the DR. And Collazo, he's been in there. Like, the Berto fight was contested. The Ricky Hatton fight was contested. He fought Shane Mosley. He stopped Victor Ortiz's comeback party. He's been in there at the Amir Khan, even though he lost that fight. That's dumbass experience. That's a lot of experience. Sammy Vasquez doesn't have that. Not to mention, I think Sammy Vasquez's team, they didn't do a good job of bringing him back. This is probably not the level of fight, and I mean, it's easy to say it now. I didn't do a prediction video or anything like that, but I mean, I could have told you that Collazo, he's sneaky. That's the best way to put it. He's sneaky. If you have lapses in camp, if you are doing certain things, he can exploit those things. And I tried telling people, and people act shocked when Keith Thurman almost went down. Collazo is a veteran with tons of experience. He's a southpaw. I mean, just that veteran experience is enough sometimes, because they know little subtle things. You don't, whether you lose or win, you don't fight the caliber of Shane Mosley at that time, Berto at that time when he was undefeated, Ricky Hatton when he was undefeated, I believe, and Amir Khan when he looked real good at welterweight, right? His first fight where he's still fresh. You don't fight those level of people without taking something away from it. Even if you lost those fights, you learn experience and stuff like that. He stays in shape. And I was speaking with his trainer, strength and conditioning coach, and he's preparing Danny Jacobs and Collazo. And they said that, you know what I mean, they're ready. They're preparing. He said, I have to go. He was out in the Bay, and he's like, I got to go out for Collazo's fight. And Saddam Ali had a fight. They're just, everybody's working. So again, shout out to Collazo. He knocked Sammy Vasquez down earlier. I think it was in the third round. There was one moment where Vasquez maybe caught Collazo, and he looked a little bit, you know what I mean, like he got caught with something, woke him up. And then in the sixth round, he landed a nasty, I think it was a right, even though he's left-handed. I think it was a right hook, and he just knocked him out. Bad move from his team, you know what I'm saying, just to put him, like, because Collazo is easy to sleep on, I'm telling you. But if you do your homework, he's not Keith Thurman. Out of all the fights Thurman has had, Collazo probably had him the most hurt, clearly, you know what I'm saying. You look at the Ricky Hatton fight, contested, like I said, the Andre Berto. That was when Berto was in his prime. Even the Berto Ortiz, that was a war. That was a fight. That got fight of the year that particular year. So they traded knockdowns and stuff like that. Berto, when he fought Jesus Soto Caras, he had one arm, and then he got stopped in the 12th. That wasn't the case. Berto didn't have any injuries when he fought Collazo and stuff. So Collazo made a huge comeback statement with this. And I mean, it is what it is. I think it's the veteran experience, and he's a solid fighter you just can't sleep on. And I don't know what Vasquez's team thought. Like, maybe they thought it was easy picking, or, oh, Keith Thurman stopped him. Keith Thurman brings certain things to the table. I think his power is good, and Collazo had a cut in that particular fight. But you don't want to put your fighter in there with off of a grueling fight like Felix Diaz. And I keep stressing the same issues on the channel. That took some mileage off of Sammy Vasquez. And even though he had a little bit of a layoff probably since that particular fight, that was just last year, and it was a loss. And then you put him in there with a rugged BK guy. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Collazo's been stopped off the top of my head. And if he did, he maybe has one stoppage. I got to double check. But he's tough. You know what I mean? He's been in there. Khan didn't stop him. Hatton, Berto didn't stop him. Ortiz didn't stop him. Stuff like that. So you don't put him. It's just not a good fight. You know what I mean? There's certain guys who are a lot better than their record suggests, and Collazo's clearly one of them, and he showed you that. And after that Felix Diaz fight, that was like rough and tumble, and you've seen all that scar tissue and the blooding of Vasquez's face. That probably drained some of his confidence. I'm not making excuses for why Collazo won, but I'm just saying that it comes with the territory. You take a first ever pro loss, you probably lose some confidence. And it was just a grueling fight of 12 rounds of like kind of getting pummeled. And then you put him in there with the guy who's sneaky like Collazo. You're subject to these kind of things. So maybe Vasquez wasn't what he was being built up. The Aaron Martinez win and stuff. This guy was being promised. Like, they were saying he was the next dude. So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be hard. He's kind of like in the Ronda Rousey boat. You take 2 back-to-back bad losses, confidence, we don't know where your confidence is going to be. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I'm not saying it's inevitable. It's really up to the fighter. But 2 back-to-back losses, one being like a 12-round beating that took some time and mileage off of your career, and then having a knockout like that, and you got knocked down. I just don't know where Vasquez's confidence, and it's sad because this is how the boxing business works. You think you're in there with somebody light, you know what I mean, light touch or something, and then things like this could happen. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, in hindsight, it's easy to say what could have or should have happened, but if I was on Vasquez's team, I would be like, man, be real cautious because Collazo is not playing any games. And there's an article on the website. Make sure you guys check it out. Shout out to my dude Bakari, BOXINGEGO.com. I'll try to link to it in this video. And there's a quote from Vasquez, and he said it himself. Collazo's kind of at the end of his rope. If he loses this, then it's not going to be a good look. It's going to be hard for him to get big fights. So he says, I know he's going to come to bring the fight. So knowing that, I think Vasquez should have worked on some things. He just seemed kind of desperate and reckless, and you got to have like a solid defense and just have your shit tight. But again, props to Collazo. Let me know what you guys thought. Nasty knockout. Collazo's back on the map. I mean, there's a ton of fights I would want to see. Like, if Broner gets past Granados, I wouldn't mind a Broner versus Collazo, something like that. There's a ton of fights for him, though. Robert Guerrero, Josecito Lopez winner. There's a ton of new options that opened up for Collazo after this win, because he keeps doing this. People forget about him. He disappears for a year or two or whatever. Then he stops Victor Ortiz. Now he beats a once beaten person, and the Olympic gold medalist. You could say maybe that had something to do with it. Like I said, I do think fights like that take some years off of your career. But Felix Diaz, a gold medalist, wasn't able to stop him, and Collazo was. So you got to give him props for doing that. And he knocked him down too. So it's hard. These fighters live this hard life because they take back-to-back tough-ass fights. And that's why I try to urge people overuse this bum and he's a cherry pick and washed up and all these like signature phrases. And it just goes to show you it's not easy. People get it twisted because Mayweather was undefeated for 19 years, and they go to think that if you just select your way through history that none of these guys are coming to win or have the chances of winning. You still have to be skilled. Even if you think Mayweather was cherry picking, you have to have some level of skill, because do you know what you would get if you knock out Mayweather, or if you're the first to beat him? Your career, your bank account, everything grows exponentially. So I really think the bum talk and all that is overused. You look at some of the guys' toughest fights, and they were unexpected. Like Tommy Morrison lost to, I forgot his name, Michael something. He wasn't expected to lose to that guy. You look at Lennox Lewis, he didn't lose to Mike Tyson, but he lost to Hasim Rahman. You know what I mean? So boxing is fickle like that, where it's not even necessarily the guy. Lucas Matisse doesn't get knocked out by Danny Garcia, but he gets knocked out by Victor Postal, right? And I could do this time and time again where people are in way tougher fights. You look at Deontay Wilder, one of his toughest fights, it wasn't even Bermane Stavern. I mean, yeah, it was semi-tough, but the Johan Duhaupas fight, I didn't even know who that was, and that was lightweight, a tougher fight, and Wilder's eye was looking like shit in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So you guys got to stop with this, oh, he's a bum and he's washed up. These dudes are coming to scrap. Whether they can pull an upset or not, they're at least trying in most cases, right? And boxing, like I said, is fickle like that, where you never know. You just never know, like Denzel said in Training Day. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to COLLAZO. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.